Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be why you should not give your heart away so easily. You may have heard this old, I don't know, is it old wives' tale or this old saying that basically goes that men fall in love through their eyes, but women fall in love through their ears. Now, when I was younger, when I was really young, I somehow developed this idealistic view of what I thought being with a woman was like. I mean, growing up, when you look at TV or you see what's in the movies, there's this magical connection that happens between two people, and everything is perfect from there on out, and they just live these amazing, charming lives from that day forward. Well, what I found in the real world, in my own life, is that my life basically tended to resemble more of a Greek tragedy than it did some great love story like I saw in the movies. And the quote that I've mentioned, how men tend to fall in love with their eyes and women through their ears, is that we men are visual creatures. The first thing we notice about a woman is her eyes, her looks, her body, her ass, her legs, her long hair, her tan skin. Whatever it is, it's something that physically, visually stimulates us to get us to notice them. And one of the biggest complaints you hear women talk about is how guys are just interested in their bodies, because we tend to look at women as sex objects. But it's just none of us, men and women both, none of us were ever really taught how to interact with one another. And I know when I was in elementary school or middle school or high school, even college, we never had any classes on relationships or attracting the opposite sex or what the opposite sex responded to. I mean, when you look at Sigmund Freud, who's supposedly one of the great thinkers and psychologists, it was like towards the end of his life, one of the things he said, the one question I've basically never been able to answer is, what does a woman want? He couldn't figure women out. And here he was, this is supposedly the father of modern psychology. He couldn't understand women. I mean, obviously you've been following my book, or if you read my book or followed my articles for some time, there's a lot of different things, but obviously men and women are different. Men, we tend to be logic-oriented, reason-oriented, and women tend to be more emotionally oriented. And the biggest thing that most guys do is they just don't know how to have a simple conversation and interact with a woman and cause her to feel and think like, wow, this guy's really interested in me for who I am and not just trying to get in my pants. And the title of this video, obviously, is why you shouldn't give your heart away so easily. And so going back to the way I used to be when I was younger, it's just as soon as I saw a woman or I met somebody that I really liked, or I felt like, hey, this is it, this is the girl. I finally met the one. And then a few weeks later, I've gotten 2-3 dates, and now she doesn't return any of my phone calls. And I didn't understand why at the time. And you can kind of look at it like the analogy of baseball card collecting. Well, if you got a baseball card where there's millions and millions of copies of these things have been printed and they're pretty well known and pretty acceptable, they're not going to be worth more than basically the paper that they're printed on. However, if you got a baseball card that there's only like 3 or 4 or 1 or 2 or maybe 10 known to be in existence worldwide, like a 100-year-old baseball card or something, people pay millions of dollars for these things. And so you can think about it from a perspective of a baseball card. If you're just going to give your heart away, I mean, think about it, as human beings, we tend to only appreciate something that we have to earn or that we have to fight for. And like what I used to do is I used to basically, oh, wow, she's a pretty face. Wow, hot girl, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And without even thinking, do I have anything in common with her? Is this somebody that's even interesting? Do I even like who she is, the person? It's just the looks was everything to me. And because I was always getting rejected by the women I really wanted, the thought never crossed my mind that maybe some of these women might be a little fucked up. I mean, I figured I was not even getting any dates, and there had to be something wrong with me and what I was doing, which obviously it was. And once I corrected what I was doing wrong, and I was actually able to start dating and sleeping with these women, the type of women that were normally always rejecting me, what I realized is that a lot of these women were actually pretty messed up, and that was really stunning for me, because I thought it was just, I was doing something wrong, so I must be screwed up. And I have all these great women that have come into and out of my life over the years that I've blown it with, and since I never dated them long enough to really get to know them, I never knew what they were really like. But as it's like I started out in the beginning, it's just like how do most guys start. I wanted to get laid more often. I wanted to have more success. I wanted to date more of the kind of women that I wanted. And what I found was that the more when it became easy for me to meet and date women or pick them up in a nightclub or just casual acquaintance introduce us, and a few hours later she's over at my house and we're sleeping together, what I realized is after a period of time that wasn't really fulfilling. And once I finally got into a relationship with a woman who I was just nuts about and who felt the same way about me, and when you compare having sex versus making love, there is no comparison. And for me, the way I look at things now is I see myself as a catch. And I'm not going to sleep with just anyone just because she's pretty or she's hot. There's got to be a really deep, awesome connection between me and another woman for me to want to do that. But, when you're younger, it's like you fuck anything that moves, basically. But as you get older and you realize, hey, I have choices, and you start rejecting women that just a few months before, maybe a few years before, you'd have fucking cut your right arm off to get a chance to sleep with her, it completely changes the way you look at things, and then you start acting like a catch. You should never try to keep someone who doesn't want to keep you. And so when you first start dating someone, I know it's hard when you're emotionally into them and your emotions are just completely blinding you, but you really have to try to remain objective and keep in mind that she's on probation too. You got to make sure that she's reciprocating and making the same kind of effort to causing your budding relationship grow as you are. Because you don't want to end up in a relationship with somebody who's not really that into you. And if you just right away, like what I used to do, I'd give my heart away and convince myself that I was in love with this woman, even though I'd only known her for 10 minutes. And I'm thinking about what our kids are going to look like and where we're going to live and all this kinds of crazy shit's going through my mind. And like I said, I've only known her for 10 minutes. But those kinds of things come with life experience and with wisdom, and by you watching these videos and reading my articles or my book, you can learn from all the mistakes that I've made over my life, so you don't have to repeat the same mistakes. So if you find this message of value, you can show your appreciation by going down to the Wibbia toolbar, which is at the bottom of your screen if you're watching this video on my website, and click the PayPal donate button, and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information in this video. At the very least, please share this page with all your friends and family by clicking any one of the social network sharing buttons, which are also on the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask me or a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen and send me 3 or 4 paragraphs detailing your situation and give me several days to get back to you with a detailed response. And if you'd like to book a paid phone coaching session with me personally so I can help you with a specific situation of yours, click the Products tab at the top of your screen and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.